The Black Panther lives.
I am ready.
My heart don't skip a beat even when hard times bumps the needle.
Woo! Let's go!
You won't pray for me. Take my pain for me.
The release of Black Panther is radical. As the first black superhero in mainstream comics, Panther is becoming a symbol of how the perception of minorities can evolve by letting black creators reclaim a character's narrative. Black Panther first appeared in 1966's Fantastic Four number 52. Created by the legendary Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the African King handed out fades to the entire Fantastic Four family. It was revolutionary for any superhero, let alone the first black one. In a 2016 Huffington Post interview, Stan Lee described why he felt the need to create a status quo challenging black superhero. I wanted to get away from a common perception, so what I did, I made him almost like Reed Richards. He's a brilliant scientist and he lives in an area that under the ground is very modern and scientific and nobody suspects it. The Black Panther became the perfect hero to coincide with the rise of the civil rights movement, even if his creation predated the official founding of the Black Panther Party. T'Challa and the Afro-futuristic city of Wakanda represented something new, especially considering black comic book characters of the 30s, 40s, and 50s were illiterate sidekicks at best and blackface characters at worst. Despite the work of legends like Lee, Kirby, Roy Thomas, and Don McGregor, Black Panther struggled to find his voice and audience. Their collective vision of the regal king was there, the execution was not. To be fair, Panther's early existence read like a well-meaning, albeit racially insensitive game of Mad Libs. He'd appear in titles called Jungle Action, fight villains named Man-Ape, have weird discussions about the Black Panther Party, and battle the KKK. Worse, T'Challa's membership in the Avengers quickly devolved into him getting his ass kicked. A lot. That's why it isn't a surprise it took black writers like Christopher Priest, Reginald Hudlin, and Ta-Nehisi Coates to add a degree of nuance to a character that was essentially the token black Avenger. In the late 90s, Priest, the first full-time black writer at Marvel and DC, reintroduced the character to a new generation. In a self-published essay, Priest explained the problem facing the Panther and how it informed his run. I feel the most profound statement I can make about race is to make Panther so cool he transcends the racial divide here in America. Rather than try and force the readers to identify with a black character, I accepted the fact a great many readers would not be able to overcome the race thing and withdrew Panther from the reader entirely. Withdrawing Panther from the audience came from an unlikely source, NBC's Friends.
You know, on second thought, gum would be perfection. Gum would be perfection? Gum would be perfection.
Through the point of view character Everett K. Ross, the audience is supposed to see the Black Panther as more myth than man. During Priest's run, T'Challa was a king of few words that was a threat to the Avengers instead of being its punching bag. Reginald Hudlin's subsequent run in 2005 would streamline Priest's vision and give a clear and dynamic structure to T'Challa, his family, and their origins. In an interview with MTV News, Hudlin described his Black Panther mission statement.
I always thought it was very clear that Wakanda was a country that had never been conquered. I just wanted to really delineate that, make that clear, and play through the implications of that. And a lot of people freaked out, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, I'm doing what Stan and Jack wrote. I'm going back to the core material.
Most recently, in 2016, Ta-Nehisi Coates added another layer of representation to the Black Panther by examining feminism, gender politics, and sexuality through Black Panther's all-female guards, the Dora Milaje. Coates helped transform the problematic concubines of Panther's past into a powerful conversation about the sacrifices women make under the weight of oppressive power structures. In a 2016 Vice interview, Coates described the storytelling impact of representation. One of the great arguments in favor of diversity and diverse representation is that when you're not doing it, you actually aren't reflecting the world. Representation actually has a storytelling impact. It's not just a matter of social justice, it's actually a matter of good storytelling. On February 16th, millions of people, many of them small children, will get to see themselves on the big screen. Whether it's the quiet and noble strength of Panther or the fierce warrior spirit of the Dora Milaje. The power of Black Panther isn't merely in representation, but in knowing that characters are being handled by people who share and safeguard experiences. Like he did 50 years ago, Black Panther is back to break barriers.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.